Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another Complexx Conversations. I'm your host, the Podfather. I haven't done one of these since the second to last week of January. I skipped all of February, almost skipped all of March, but hey, we're on the second to last day of the month, and I thought, why not? Let's get one going. As you can tell by the title of this, it's about the quarantine. I don't know what I'm gonna name it, quarantine and chill, or just quarantine. I don't know yet. We'll figure it out as we go along. But I'm never alone when I do a podcast. Brandon is not with me from the Bulletcast, but a former Bulletcast member, Florito Maniego, one of my good buddies from Chabot College. How you doing today, man?
I am doing great. Just woke up. I agreed to do this podcast because, you never let your friends do anything alone.
Absolutely, man. And as we've talked over these group FaceTimes over the last couple days, you've expressed how you're bored out of your mind, and I'm like, you know what, man? Let's do a podcast today.
Yeah, might as well. I've just been working from home, and then other than that, just doing the same old thing. I have to do this for another month, and probably even more than that.
It's okay, man. It's the quarantine. It's giving you time to be with your loved ones. It's interesting. So what we're gonna do with coronavirus, what we know about it so far. So apparently there are 144,060 confirmed cases in the United States. Apparently 4,865 people have recovered. And New York has the most cases with 59,648, which is mind-boggling to me.
Yep.
We here in California, we've had 6,197 cases, and 33 people have recovered from the coronavirus. So that's interesting. North of us, Washington, 4,483, 201 people have recovered. I'm just trying to find all the recovered people. Mississippi, 663, 0 recoveries. Minnesota, 576, 260 recoveries. Kentucky, 439, 2 recoveries. Yeah, man. Washington, D.C., the nation's capital, 342 cases. Only 66 people have recovered. So you're just kind of getting a glimpse of what's going on here in America. And then Puerto Rico has 127. Yeah, so Guam has 58.
Yeah.
So
to put it in perspective, no one's safe wherever you are. That's why it's really important for everyone to stay at home and make sure you prevent further spread of this virus, because it's really contagious.
Absolutely, man. It started in China, and so the confirmed cases that we knew of were 81,470 cases. 75,770 people have recovered in China, so that's miraculous. The worldwide atmosphere,
Yep.
So it's 745,308 people.
And it's still going up.
Yes.
And that's the crazy part.
It is, Only the only amount of people who have recovered worldwide are 156,841. So, that's not even halfway there. I mean, you're just looking at all the cases: Poland, Romania, Luxembourg, Japan. Oh my God. Russia, Pakistan, the Philippines, Flo.
Yeah. They're being hit, but not as hard as many countries, just because it's a tropical country, so the virus tends to evaporate a lot quicker in those places than, like, let's say the U.S. or Italy or Spain.
It's just interesting. I'm looking at the places with the least number of cases.
Yeah, usually like I said, it's usually the tropical areas, just because of the hot weather.
Yeah, Nicaragua's had 4 confirmed cases, 0 recoveries. So this has really become just we already knew it was a global pandemic, but it's really just escalated. It's going to keep escalating. I know that Trump yesterday extended the quarantine, I think, nationwide till April 30th, but then I think we here in California, it's been extended to May 1st. So,
yep.
Flo, what else have you heard about this unbelievable virus?
Well, like I said earlier, we know that it's really contagious and it transmits as respiratory droplets, like through your spit or when you sneeze, and like when those droplets stay on the surface, and then let's say someone touches it, and then touches his or her face, then you know the virus will obviously like come into your body through your eyes, nose, or mouth, and yeah, it's just led to like so many quarantines and lockdowns around the world just because of how quickly this is spreading. And yeah, it's just jamming a lot of the hospitals around the world, particularly in like here, Italy and Spain. China's been recovering now, and yeah, it's definitely affecting a lot of countries, man.
It really is. I'm looking on online, and it says people may be sick with the virus for 1 to 14 days before actually developing any symptoms. So it says most people, about 80%, recover from the disease without needing any special treatment. Um, yeah. So when it first started, it was like basically 65 and up, basically senior citizens.
Yep.
People who qualify for AARP. That's who was at risk, and then it started trickling down to people in their early 60s to late 50s, and now it's going to people just in their 50s. And I've heard a couple cases of teens having it. And of course, if you have a low immune system like an infant, a newborn baby, or a child, you can risk getting it. So that's mind-boggling to me. It's very scary. But the symptoms are, people may experience a cough, a fever, tiredness, difficulty breathing. That's severe cases, or difficulty breathing, hyperventilating, stuff like that. Yeah, man. So, the prevention, if we look at that, obviously, just guys, wash your hands, wash
Yep.
your hands. Like this,
That's
this
important.
this isn't new. We've learned about this since we were like 4 or 5 years old. You know,
Yeah.
don't wash
And
your hand.
make sure you wash it with soap for 20 seconds. You can sing a song while you're doing it, whatever makes it a lot more fun. But yeah, I've been washing my hands, I would say, like at a rate of every 45 minutes, and now my hands are starting to dry up. So, and I can only imagine how the hands of like healthcare workers are like right now, because obviously they're the ones handling a lot of the patients who have this virus, and of course, like they have to protect themselves at all cost because they're the heroes in this war, man.
They really are, man. And then there's also the 6 feet apart rule. Which there have been so many memes and gifs about that, where they're trying to make light of the situation, which I understand.
Yeah,
It's an escape. It's an escape, guys.
yeah,
Yeah, so that's real. Like in grocery stores, or even in my store, I work at a gas station. For those of you that don't know, we have tape on the floor, 6 feet apart, guys. Like this is legit. This is real. I've taken the precaution to wear gloves. I mean, I have worn gloves in the past before we even dealt with this Corona thing, because money's dirty. It is. It's
yep,
one of the most dirty surfaces ever. And yeah, and then stay home, guys. Like if you can, stay home. Me, I guess I'm classified as an essential worker, so I have to leave my house, have to go to work. But I see a lot of still old people out. I'm like, you're very high at risk of catching this. You don't need to be outside.
yeah.
You know.
They're definitely vulnerable. So that's why we need to put more emphasis, as much as we already have during the past month, that staying home is really key to preventing the spread of this virus and protecting those that are most vulnerable, particularly older people or people with underlying health conditions. Um, so even if you're young, you're healthy, you're fit, it's so important to do so, because what if you come back home with the virus, and then out of nowhere you infect your grandma or grandpa, and you know we that's basically our our societal responsibility right now is to prevent the spread of this virus to those who are, you know, most vulnerable, like I said.
Absolutely. So the treatments, rest and sleep, keep warm, drink plenty of liquids, water, get your vitamin D's, your vitamin C's, get your OJ going. And no, I'm not
Yep.
talking about Simpson. Also, use a room humidifier or take a hot shower to help ease a sore throat or cough. Yeah, man. So those are the treatments for it. Now we get to talk about how it's affecting our day-to-day lives. Flo, it's really affected you because you work for NBC and you can't leave your house to go to work.
No, I mean, they closed the entire building down, so there's no way for me to come into work anyways. Um, yeah, I mean, I work in sports media. Both of my jobs are related to that, and obviously, with all the quarantines and lockdowns, there's no NBA, there's no hockey, there's no baseball, and of course, there's nothing for us to show besides replays of older games. And so, I'm out of work for the past 3.5 weeks, and who knows how long this will last. But at least I've been working home, for one of those jobs, and still hanging in there financially. But it's been a struggle, and I know a lot of other people have been either furloughed or laid off, and that's really tough. But um, I know that you guys will stay strong and hang in there. And once this is all done, we'll recover.
Absolutely. The government's supposed to be sending a stimulus check, right? If you make less than 75,000 a year.
Right.
So yeah, something like I hear it's between like depending on what you make, 600 to like maybe 2,000, something like that. So that's something you can.
It's something,
It's
but
something, yeah.
I'm pretty sure you've seen that meme where they compare how people would react in Alabama compared to here in California.
Oh, absolutely.
Because obviously, twelve
It's
hundred dollars is a lot for like people in Alabama or like Nebraska, but people who live in New York or California, twelve
that's
hundred.
that's not even a month's rent. Rent
Not
out
even
rent out here at lowest is like maybe 22,000 or
at, yeah,
2,200, 2,200. Yeah.
if that, yeah,
Yeah, so it's crazy. But yeah, you do talk about how the sports world is shut down, I mean, the only thing that's still going is bowling and professional wrestling, which,
right.
wrestling's the only thing I've ever really watched for the last 15 years. So my day-to-day life really hasn't changed. I still go to work. I'm still watching Raw and SmackDown and AEW because they're still producing new content, and
Yep.
we have WrestleMania this Saturday and Sunday with no fans, which I'm not gonna lie, guys. Like I'm going to wrestling baseball here. I thought it was a work, which means not real. But then when I realized, oh my God, WrestleMania Performance Center, no fans. It's a shoot, brother. This is real.
Yeah,
This is real.
with Rob Gronkowski at the helm.
Oh, of course, former New England's Patriots, Rob
Yep.
Gronkowski.
Yep.
All right. No, but it's just it's crazy. You see people walking around with gloves and masks on, like looking like Michael Jackson in the '90s. It's
Yeah.
Yeah. My grandmother, she has a sanitation suit that she throws over her clothes before she leaves the house.
Oh
And I'm
wow.
Yeah, and I'm like, Grandma, you don't need to leave the house to begin with. You know what I mean? Like, just stay home.
That's
Just
true.
just stay home. But yeah, man. I mean, we have to talk about people who it's still going on. Long lines at Costco and all these stores for toilet paper and water.
Right. And I understand the need to buy groceries, but sometimes, you don't have to overdo it. Like groceries and pharmacies aren't going anywhere. They're essential to us. So like they're not going to close down. Calm down. Like there's still going to be toilet paper around. There's still going to be canned food. You don't have to like stock up too much.
No, yeah, absolutely. And what you can do, guys, like I think for the Bay Area, the curfew is midnight. You can't be out past that. Like my friend, she was telling me that she was driving home and it was like 12:02, and an officer saw somebody else on the road and was like, "Why are you out? Go home!" Like, got on the loudspeaker. I'm like, "Wow, that's crazy."
Oh
But
wow.
yeah, but the point is, like, the roads really stopped dying down about like 7 o'clock, 7:30. Just pop out
Yeah.
to your local Lucky's, Safeway, Whole Foods, whatever it is, whatever it may be, grocery outlet. Just try to find what you need, and then just, or hell, Amazon, dude. Like, order it on Amazon.
Yeah,
You know,
but it's kind of tough to order off of Amazon right now too, because most of the the essential stuff are sold out.
that is true. My grandmother and I spent, like, I don't know, like 2 days going to different stores so she can get ingredients to make her own hand sanitizer, which is,
Wow.
that's repugnant within its own right. But how
Yeah.
else has this affected you, Flo?
Well, there's pros and cons to it.
It's just pros.
Pros would be, you get to spend time. What's up?
No, no, no. The pros
Oh,
are.
pros would be like, spending time with your family and, doing things that you normally didn't have time to do, like when you have work and stuff. Um, but, it just sucks, man, like not being able to leave the house. But, of course, you have to understand the fact that it's for everyone's safety and health. And, yeah, you don't get to do a lot of the fun stuff that you used to be able to do, like go to a park or go to a restaurant, go to the gym. You
That
know,
that is true. I mean, some restaurants they're open, but you just have to, like, order your food, and then once you get your food, you have to leave immediately. That's
right?
that's what they're doing. But yeah, it's really just crazy the way the world is kind of shut down, but specifically in America. I mean, there are only two other times where, like, time basically stopped and things were shut down.
Right.
I've heard people talk about it. We were alive for it, but we don't remember it because we were so young. 9/11, when
Yes.
that happened, and then the even older generation, they talk about the Kennedy assassination, how schools were closed, businesses closed because I believe he got shot on a Thursday. Then, like, that Monday, schools and businesses were closed and just mourning, and basically time. I've heard my grandma say basically time stopped when Kennedy got shot. So this is, I guess this is our version of that in a way. Reliving how businesses are stopping and sports are just stopped. It's crazy. It's mind-boggling to me how
Right.
everything's just on hold. But I mean, once everything opens up again, bars are going to be packed galore. Clubs, the gym is going to be
Yep.
packed like it's the first day of the new year.
Exactly.
Yeah, man.
Probably even more than that.
No, yeah,
And
absolutely.
and like to bounce off of like what you said, I feel like this is, even though I didn't live here in the United States during 9/11, but um, I can probably say that this is a lot worse than like what people had experienced back then, just because I feel like the length of like these lockdowns and quarantines are much longer, and like I don't know, this one, because we're dealing with an invisible enemy, and like it literally just affects everyone.
That's
You know.
that's true. So let's talk about what we've been doing during quarantine. Flo, you legit didn't leave your house for like 2 weeks, right?
Yep. Close to 2.5.
So what did you do, man?
I was probably on my bed during those 2.5 weeks more than I was like the 2 months before that combined, which is crazy. So that's all I've been doing, man. Just relaxing. I've been eating a lot more than I should because there's nothing else to do at the house. But obviously, I balance that out by like working out in my room, which sometimes sucks because there's not a lot of space, but you have to deal with what you have. Um, like I said earlier, I've been working from home for one of my jobs. What else? Watching a lot of movies and shows. I've been catching up on some Westworld on HBO and Better Call Saul, and yeah, just doing a lot of cleaning and organizing. You know, make the best out of your time in your house. What about you, Phil?
Man, I think I've hopped on Netflix a lot more now that I've noticed. I'm a big Scream guy. Like I love Wes Craven's work. So, but I was watching the TV series that debuted in 2015. I was really high on that. I watched the first two seasons. It was phenomenal. The third
Uh,
season, I'm not really a fan of, you know. But what have been your go-tos since the quarantine's been going on?
like my go-to.
Go-to shows or movies?
Oh, yeah. I would say I've caught up with Westworld now, so I'm pretty much like done with that. Yeah, just Better Call Saul. I've been watching that on Netflix, and then after that, I'll probably do Breaking Bad, just because uh, those events happened after the events of Better Call Saul, so I'm gonna catch up on that. Um, yeah, just my go-to would just I would say it's just YouTube. Just watching a lot of random videos, like old wrestling matches that WWE has been uploading. Um,
What's your favorite you've seen so far?
ooh, that's a tough question. Um, I would say that that Undertaker Shawn Michaels match, man. That one's a classic.
Which 25 or 26?
I think that was 26.
Ah, yes, the one before it's better. As I preach on the Bullet Cast.
Oh, okay.
No, but yeah, man. How's this affected your family? Your mom and your stepdad?
Well, my mom's still working from home, so she's still she's still doing well. Everyone's healthy, which I'm happy about. Um, both of them have been cooking a lot more, which is good. So I don't have to spend a lot of money on food. uh,
Yeah, I think that's the biggest plus. Like people haven't been going out eating, so you're saving your money.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
I mean I'm not making a lot of money, but so good for me.
there you go. I think people are going to be working a hell of a lot more to make up all that lost time, get all that OT.
Yeah. What about you? How's your family?
Oh, it's fine. And like I said, my grandmother's wearing sanitation suits and all that other stuff. My mom doesn't really leave the house anyway, so she's
Mhm.
not really affected by it. So it's all right. But as we wind down here, what I think will the country and the world truly ever really be back to normal after this? I mean, people say, oh, it's an election year, so that's why this is really happening. And I guess that's true. Um, but I don't remember the world being like this with swine flu back in '09 and 2014 when Ebola broke out. I was
Yep.
in Dallas at the time. Nobody was worried. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So with the coronavirus, with that Ronavirus, what's the world's perspective gonna be like on germs and sanitation and cleanliness after this is all said and done?
Well, in that end, I think that the world will be a lot more cautious in terms of like human interaction. I feel like, I mean, people are still going to shake hands and all that, but people are going to be more aware to be like, oh, I just shook that guy's hand. I should probably wash my hands before touching food or like touching my face. So I feel like that's a positive in terms of, people's hygiene and cleanliness. But holistically, I think that countries around the world will be more prepared, for any future pandemic that will happen, after this experience. And, that's, I feel like, especially the United States, where, we've had a lot of issues with the lack of personal protection equipment for healthcare workers, and ventilators for patients who are struggling with breathing and all that. I think that this is definitely a lesson learned for the country, and after this is over, we'll we'll definitely be more prepared.
Yeah, we will. I think people will be paranoid for quite some time. I wonder what the guidelines are going to be. Like, I know it was like, oh, you can't have more than 150, then it became 100, then it became 50, then it became like 10, people in a room. So I wonder, like, what the guidelines will be slowly and gradually to where I can be back in a wrestling arena full of 20,000 fans. Like, I wonder how long that's going to take. I think we get back to normality about, I want to say mid to late July, dude.
Yeah, and
Like true normality where nobody's paranoid or there aren't
right.
really guidelines or anything.
Yeah, and I think that our sense of normalcy will eventually come back for some or most people, but it's just a matter of when. And I think that timetable seems valid, around July or August. But yeah, it's just gonna be a lot of like weird interactions between people after this is all done. Just from what we've been experiencing right now.
That's absolutely true. I mean, Flo, do you have any more points that you would like to make on the coronavirus pandemic that's sweeping our nation and the world?
Yeah, I think the one of the biggest things that people are talking about right now is the economy and the how COVID-19 has pretty much affected a lot of nations' economies. Like especially here in the U.S., unemployment rates are super high right now. Economy is barely stimulating at all since everyone's staying home, and the only businesses that are thriving are those deemed essential, like where you're working at, and grocery stores and pharmacies. And we'll see how the economy will recover after this. It's definitely going to be a lot of work, but yeah, it's going to take a lot of effort from a lot of people to have the economy back to where we were if just a few weeks ago, which is crazy.
Absolutely. I think it was in late January, early February. We heard about the coronavirus in China, and people were making jokes, and then it just got to the U.S. or I think what got to Italy and then the U.S. Now it's just been a whirlwind. You know.
Yeah, and that's the problem. We never took the preemptive move to prevent this virus to spread here. Well, mainly because the virus is something that we've never had before, or we've never like seen before. So we never had a lot of information about it until like recently, and so like you said, we never took it seriously, and now we're sort of paying the price for it. But yeah, it's just. But I think we'll fight through it and we'll get through it. But it'll definitely take a lot of time and effort for a lot of people by just staying home and making sure that keep everyone safe and healthy.
Yes, absolutely. All right. Well, Flo, do you have anything else to add before we wrap this thing up?
Yeah, Philip, that's all I have to say. I just want to make sure to reiterate: please wash your hands, stay home, only get out of the house when you need groceries, and yeah, we'll stay strong, everyone.
Yes, absolutely. Flo, hopefully you and I can get together with our group of bandits and our quote unquote inner circle members
Mm.
soon and go have a brewski or two or three or four or nine or 10 or maybe 15 down at our local favorite bar
All
once
right,
all this is over, man.
indubitably.
Oh, there you go. Throwing it out there. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to do it for Complexx Conversations. I don't know when I'm going to do another one of these, but I thought this was very essential to what's going on in our nation and the world right now. This is a global pandemic, and it's still very, very serious. So please, ladies and gentlemen, everyone, stay clean, stay strong, stay safe, and stay home.